All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving into something really interesting today.
Yeah.
It's the Everton-Brentford match from Goodison Park.
Okay.
And you know what? This match ended in a 0-0 draw, which sounds boring.
Yeah, you think so, right?
You'd think so.
Not very exciting.
But it was actually the first time ever
Oh, wow.
that these two clubs have played to a goalless result. So
That's historic.
it is historic. We've got the match report right here,
All right.
and we're ready to kind of like break it down
Yeah, let's do it.
and see what happened, what led to this.
Yeah, all the twists and turns.
All the twists and turns, yeah. All the action.
All the non-action,
All the non-action, that's right.
the lack of goals.
So this wasn't just any draw, right?
No, absolutely not.
Especially for Brentford, given how they've been struggling away from home this whole season.
Exactly. Going into this match, they hadn't picked up a single point on the road. So the pressure was definitely on. I think a draw for them is a win in a way almost.
It's got to feel that way.
Yeah.
The match report talks a lot about how Everton really dominated the beginning of the match.
Yeah.
Which kind of feels like a recurring theme for them at Goodison Park.
For sure. They always seem to start strong at home.
Yeah.
But then for some reason, they can never quite turn it into goals.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. What happens? They come out strong.
Yeah.
They've got that home advantage. The crowd's behind them.
Yep.
And then it just kind of fizzles.
Right. Exactly.
So do you think this is just a case of them having an off day? Or is it something more? Like, is there some sort of trend we're seeing with their attacking strategy? Or
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly they had some missed chances, right?
Yeah. The report specifically mentions Dwight McNeil.
Yeah, Dwight McNeil had a couple of great opportunities where he really should have scored.
Yeah.
So maybe he was just having an off day, you know?
Maybe.
Sometimes it happens. But I also think that if you look at Everton's attack as a whole...
Yeah, seem to struggle a bit with creativity.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you know, especially in the midfield.
Yeah.
They kind of rely on this predictable passing game.
Okay.
And I think that makes them easy to defend against, you know.
Especially a team like Brentford, who seem to be pretty well organized at the back.
Exactly. Brentford did a great job of just sitting deep.
Yeah.
Absorbing all that pressure.
Yeah.
And forcing Everton into those predictable passes.
Right. So it sounds like even though Everton had control for a lot of that first half, they weren't really testing Brentford's goalkeeper all that much.
No, not really.
Which is pretty surprising, right?
Yeah.
You'd think with all that possession, all those attacks, they'd be peppering the goal.
Exactly.
But it seems like they just couldn't quite break through.
Yeah, they lacked that cutting edge in the final third, you know.
Totally. Yeah. And then there's that moment where Brentford almost scores.
Oh, yeah.
And that completely changed the momentum of the match.
It did. And it was so unexpected, too.
Yeah.
Right? It was.
I mean, Brentford had spent most of the first half just defending.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Yuan Wissa, he's one-on-one with Pickford.
Yeah. I mean, if he converts that chance, who knows what happens. Right?
Exactly. We might be having a totally different conversation right now.
Yeah.
It could have been a completely different game.
Absolutely. And then, just a few minutes later, things get even crazier.
Oh, yeah?
With that red card incident.
Right.
With Nørgaard.
Yeah, Christian Nørgaard comes sliding in for that tackle on Pickford. And it's a tough one, you know?
He was.
It was definitely a risky challenge.
Yeah.
It went to VAR. And even after the review, the referee still decided to give him the red card.
Yeah.
So Brentford down to 10 men for the rest of the match.
Yeah. So break that down for us. What was your take on that whole incident?
Okay, so from what I saw, Nørgaard kind of came in from behind.
Okay.
And while he might have gotten a touch on the ball, the force and the angle of that challenge, it just looked dangerous, you know?
Okay.
And these days, with VAR, everything's under a microscope.
Oh, yeah.
The referees are under so much scrutiny to make the right call.
For sure.
And I think in this instance, they probably got it right.
Yeah, it was a tough decision, I'm sure, for that referee.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I think ultimately it was the right call.
Yeah.
And you would think, right, that going down to 10 men would just completely unravel Brentford.
You'd think so, right?
Like, that's it. Game over. But they held it together.
They did. They really showed their resilience, didn't they?
They did.
They stayed organized. They made it really difficult for Everton to break them down.
Yeah.
And they even managed to create a few chances of their own.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive how they adapted
It is.
to playing with a man down.
Yeah, it shows a lot of tactical discipline and mental toughness.
Yeah, for sure. The report talks about how Everton fans were getting increasingly frustrated.
Yeah, I bet.
As the game went on. And I mean, can you blame them? They're up a man. They should be scoring goals.
You'd think so.
But Brentford's just holding strong.
Yeah, and you could sense that frustration building in the stands, couldn't you?
Yeah,
the fans could feel that their team was just unable to capitalize on the situation.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then Deitch tries to shake things up a bit, right?
Yeah.
Brings on Beto to partner with Calvert-Lewin up front.
Yeah, hoping to add some more firepower to their attack.
But even that didn't really lead to any breakthroughs.
No, I didn't, did it?
What'd you think of that substitution? Was it the right move?
Well, that's a tough one to call, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, bringing on another striker, it's always a bit of a gamble.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
In this case, it didn't really change the game.
Yeah.
Brentford's defense, they just wouldn't budge.
They held their ground.
They did.
So the match ends 0-0, a goalless draw, the first one ever between these two teams.
Historic.
It is historic. And it really felt like neither team could buy a goal.
Yeah, it did.
If they played for another 90 minutes.
It felt like it was never going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
You could just sense that neither team had that clinical edge in front of goal.
It was a really interesting match, though, tactically.
Oh, absolutely.
Lots of back and forth, a lot of adjustments.
Yeah, it was a real tactical battle, for sure.
So what's the big takeaway here? Should Everton fans be disappointed with the draw, or should we be applauding Brentford for their resilience?
That's the question, isn't it? I mean, on the one hand, you've got Everton, who had so many chances to win.
Yep.
They were at home. They had the numerical advantage for most of the second half, and they just couldn't get it done.
Yep.
So there's definitely an argument to be made that they should be disappointed.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you've got Brentford, who were absolutely incredible defensively.
Yeah.
Especially after going down to 10 men.
Yeah. I mean,
they fought hard for every ball. They stayed organized. They frustrated Everton at every turn.
They really did.
And they came away with a valuable point on the road.
Yeah, that's huge for them.
It is. So I think there's credit to be given to both sides, really.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a draw that kind of feels like a win for Brentford and a loss for Everton.
Exactly. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how this result affects both teams going forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Will this give Brentford the confidence they need to start picking up more points away from home?
Yeah.
Will Everton figure out their attacking issues before it becomes a bigger problem?
Lots of questions to be answered.
Lots of questions.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
All right.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It was a pleasure.
We'll be back soon with more
Sounds good.
in-depth analysis and discussion.
Looking forward to it.
See you next time.
Take care.